Hey everyone, are you ready for another awesome week? I sure am. Here we go. This one is going to be June week number 2, and the big bottom line for today is God's plan is the best plan, and our Bible story is Cities in the Dust, which is basically where Israel captures Jericho, okay? All going back to whatever plan we have is not as good as God's plan, so let's try to figure out what God's plan is, okay? This first activity, you'll just need to ask and tell the kids that you're going to plan the trip, okay? And so you're saying like, I'm going to go to Hawaii and I need to bring blank. And they need to fill in the blank of whatever they would bring to Hawaii. It can be funny, it can be silly, it can mean nothing at all, it doesn't matter. But just kind of have them start getting creative on what they can and can't bring to that specific destination, okay? This next one, you'll need these index cards and a die, okay? And with the index cards, you'll probably have one set that might already be marked for you. You'll need to have each one of the kids go ahead and mark the numbers 1 through 6, okay? And what you're gonna do is have them lay these cards face down, and just like this, and they're trying to get to the numbers up to 7, okay? So they may have thought that they're out of school, but they're not, okay? And so you'll have a die, and you'll have, you may need to have 2 different groups doing this too. If you have a big group, that's totally fine. But what you're gonna do is have one of the kids roll the die. And whatever number that they roll on, like I rolled on 3, right? Then they'll need to figure out how that adds up to 7, okay? So for instance, mine would be 4, okay? So 4 plus 3 equals 7. And so I would be able to flip my 4 card over, and then it would be the next kid's turn, okay? Your goal is to get whoever can flip all of their cards over first wins, okay? So you'll get to a point where they'll roll and they won't be able to actually do anything with their cards that round, and so it just goes to the next kid, okay? And so there is this kind of strategy behind it. There is some strategy behind it if you can figure it out, and so try to encourage them that, okay? But then they'll hear from large group that a story about a plan that didn't really make sense at first, but God made it make sense, okay? And it ended up being the best plan, okay? This next activity after large group, what you'll do is you'll form 2 teams and simply award points for if they get one of the questions correct, okay? And so you'll have all these questions on your curriculum and stuff. And then after that, if you have some time, tell the kids of a time when you had to trust God's plan, even when it really didn't make sense of what was going on, okay? And so I think that'll be a really good one for them just to kind of review. And then this next one, what you'll do is you'll divide the group into 3 different teams, okay? And with this 3 different teams, you're gonna do an acting scene, okay? And you'll give each one of these groups a different scene that they can act out. And it's different kind of like life scenes that they have probably experienced or they can relate to. And so go ahead and work through the scenarios that are on your curriculum, and then work through those role-playing activities, okay? And what they'll do next, but kind of have them act it, not just like, you know, say the words or whatever, but definitely act it, okay? And we may not see what God is trying to teach us or what his plan is leading us towards, but we can have confidence that he has the best plan for us, okay? So keep honing that in with the kids, keep kind of zeroing in on what that is. Also, the secret word for this week is going to be die, okay? Dice or die or whatever it is. And so go ahead and just say that to me or text it to me and you'll be entered into the drawing, okay? This next activity is just a couple of extra questions for you guys, especially with the older kids. Make sure you're going through those. This next one, you'll have a hula hoop and some verse cards, okay? So the verse cards and a hula hoop, you'll put the hula hoop all the way on the opposite side of the room, and their goal is to run over, like you'll split them up into 2 teams. They'll run over to the hula hoop, run around the hula hoop. Now, if the floor is too slippery for your kids, go ahead and have them just jump in and out, in and out, in and out, like 7 times. And then they'll run back with one of the verse cards in their hands. And with that verse card, they'll work to put this together, okay? And simply the first team to collect every single one of these different verse cards wins, okay? So again, if they're getting a little bit too dizzy, you can pause the game, maybe have them not run around it and just do something a little different instead, okay? Be creative. This next one, you'll have the take home verse memory cards for an activity this time, okay? And you'll kind of read through them together and everything. Ask kids to write a prayer on the back of this verse card, okay? So they can write a prayer on the back and then take those home and then kind of go ahead and pray together with them at that same time and just make sure that you cover them in prayer and just encourage them for the week, okay? Thank you guys again for all that you guys do. See you guys this weekend.